What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Spectators. We are a little late this week, but better late than never. My name is Joey, and I'm here with Brooklyn. As always, episode 172 is in the books. And sometimes it works out better that you wait to do stuff because you get to do it even better. Because we got an
Yeah.
absolute bombshell that happened today. I think we all kind of expected it, although there was some weird circulations of maybe this guy going somewhere else or this, that, and the other thing. But Brooke, break this news to us down real quick.
Well, before we do any of that, we got something else we got to tell all the fans who have been listening, who may not be following us on our socials
It's
at
true.
Spectators Media, by the way. So go ahead, take a little second, pause this, go follow. This is year 4. We have our first spectator event coming up in like a week and a half
Yeah.
for the lovers. We're throwing an art show. Tickets will be in the link on our socials. If you're in Tampa, please come out. Come see the boys. It's gonna be a great time, and we can't wait, bro. This is exciting.
It really is. It's our first ever event. It's going to be an art show again, as you guys probably know if you do follow us on our socials. Alejandro is big into the arts, and he does a lot of our graphics. So he's a big reason why a lot of our stuff looks as good as it does. And he
Absolutely.
and the rest of us are throwing this art show next Friday, February 10th. It's going to be out in Tampa. If you guys want more details, again, check out our socials. It's going to be a great time. We would love to see you all there, especially if we've never met, or if you're a fan of the pod and never met, or a friend of any of our many avenues. We'd love to meet, greet, and do all of that stuff. So go on out there. We'll see you guys there, hopefully. And yeah, that's our promoing to start the episode. And I think that was
That's our
the
breaking news.
yeah, that's our
But
breaking news.
now, what I woke up to this morning is the old man that came down to enjoy his vacation in Tampa Bay, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Shiesty Tom Brady
That's the one. That's the
is
guy.
retiring. He's gone. And I know last year when it happened, he came back and was like, oh, he did the whole press run, dropping like 4 different essays, thanking the Patriots, NFL fans, Bucks, everything. But this time it was different. We get just a selfie video of him in Tampa on the beach, just little voice groggy and stuff,
Yeah,
and it hit different. It hit different. Like this feels like he's done.
yeah, it definitely does. It definitely feels
He's
like
done.
this is the end of the Tom Brady era. And last time,
Yeah.
I think we all kind of had a feeling he might come back after the last time. Although
Yeah.
I will say his official retirement last year, I think it might have been exactly this day last year too. He might have did it on the exact anniversary. Well, if he did, shout out. But it was a long-winded thing, like you said, and it was thanking everybody under the sun. And I was like, huh, that's just crazy. This
Not Bill Belichick
not
though,
Bill Belichick. Everybody but Bill.
which was crazy.
Whatever. He don't need him. But this one again, like you said, he felt it. He wanted to get it out there. He didn't want to go through all that stuff again, so he recorded it. And I think the emotion at the end of it made this like one of the better retirement announcements I've ever seen in general. Just because like he was very like sad. And sad's like the very basic word, but he was like upset about it. He was like, man, this is like really this is it. This is me telling you this is over. It was like him breaking up with
Yeah.
football. And
I mean, when you consider everything that's happened, like he comes back, and in theory, you come back after the off season, and you have every chance to maybe make a run. So absolutely, like you come back and take the chance, but then as we see everything unfold this season with him and the family and Giselle and
the O
just
line and the wide
O
receivers and
line,
the
everything,
coaching, Antonio Brown, like it was a lot.
it just gets, yeah,
This is an
it's a
emotionally
roller
draining
coaster.
season for Tom for like a million reasons. And like I'm happy that he can go out on his own terms because he can still play. We saw this year that he is still
No,
quite a competent quarterback. He's still one of the better quarterbacks in this league, and obviously it's Tom Brady. But the way they went out, it didn't feel like the Bucks had a whole lot going into next year to be
no.
positive about. Where they kind of did this year, you kind of felt like, oh, well, maybe this year they can still make one more run. After this one, they're not gonna do it. Does Tom really want to go to Oakland or Miami or somewhere else? Go get a new job in a new town, learn a new system at 46 years old.
He definitely wouldn't want to go to Oakland, but he might go to
He
Vegas.
he wouldn't go to Oakland. Nobody would go to Oakland.
Yeah,
So
but
it's one of those things where it's like you
it's
don't
tough.
you definitely go out on your own terms. It is kind of sad. I wish he did the Peyton Manning route, won a Super Bowl with the Bucks, one season in, out, bada bing, bada boom. I think that would have been awesome. But we got a
It
couple
would have.
years out of Tom. Tom's the best quarterback in Tampa history now, so that's pretty cool in terms of like statistically. Pretty sick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was really cool to have Brady in the city as well.
Yeah.
Like it, it's wild because like Tampa, you're not really used to having that. So it's really sick. And I mean, hopefully, regardless of everything that happened this year with the fam, hopefully they can like reconcile everything and like get back to being a family. Who knows?
If they want
Because
that, maybe they
things
don't.
were spicy. Maybe they don't. Who's to say? Or maybe Tom lives happily ever after.
Yeah.
We saw
Regardless,
videos of him trying to get his kids into like private school in Miami, and that's when all the rumors started swirling even more that that's it, he's going to Miami, Tua's gone, he's a Dolphin,
yeah,
yada yada. He's going home.
he's going home wherever home might
He
be. And
wherever.
it's all is well, right? Because Tom Brady will never have somebody beat him in terms of the accomplishments that he has accumulated. And if it
No.
is, it's going to be somebody real special with really special circumstances. Because no matter how great you are, I've never, at least for me, considered Tom to be the most talented quarterback of all time. And I think there's plenty of people who would agree with that. But he was absolutely incredibly dominant with a great coaching staff and system and players and guys who believed in him in different positions and different teams and different organizations. And so he's the greatest to ever do it in terms of football. And I don't know if anybody will ever beat the rings and will ever beat the AFC championship appearances and all that. But it's an end of an
Yeah,
era. It's definitely kind
there
of a somber day.
there's so much involved with that, and it's like anybody breaking that is just so out of the question, it feels like, because again, not only does he have 7 rings, he has every single ring for the New England Patriot organization, every
Pretty crazy.
single one.
Pretty crazy.
So it's like that that's ridiculous.
No.
Like, you get one for a franchise,
You're a
cool,
legend. You're a
you're a
legend.
legend.
Nick
You get
Foles will
two,
forever be remembered.
forever. Forever.
Brady has
And
6.
again,
Forever.
shout out to Nick Foles, shout out to Eli Manning. They will be the only people to beat Brady in the Super Bowl. And that's something that's gonna hold weight forever.
Dude, a 7-3 record in the Super Bowl is unreal. He went to 10
Yeah.
Super Bowls. Went to 10 Super Bowls.
It's wild.
Yeah. So again, congratulations to Brady on a fantastic career. It's sad to see him go, but it is the way it is. If you're a Brady hater, I hope one day you can look back and just like kind of marvel at the things that he did and the way that he did it. And it was definitely something special. And again, big shout out to him for helping make Tampa the city that it's becoming. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely in part of him being here. So very cool, very
Yeah.
swag.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a Jet fan. So if I could at least have respect for Brady and like appreciate what he's done for football,
Yeah,
anybody can.
anybody can. Exactly.
That man has tortured me for years.
A long time. Too long.
So
Too
too long.
long.
So I'm happy he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm very happy he's gone. The last 3 years where I haven't had to worry about him in the AFC East, amazing.
Yeah.
You're in the NFC, cool. You're
Sweet.
great. Go ahead.
Congrats.
Go
Good job.
crazy. Go throw the Lombardi in the river. Go ahead.
Go ahead, big fella. But yeah, so that was the big news today, and it comes right
Yeah.
after the conference championships, which is usually where we see Tom Brady. It was kind of weird to see him nowhere near it this year. A first
Yeah.
round exit. It was kind of wild. But we had the 4 best teams, what I felt were the 4 best teams, and the games for one of them proved that. And the other one was super unfortunate, and we'll kind of talk about that one first. Eagles 49ers. everybody kind of had the 49ers as this like crazy team of destiny almost. They go down, Trey Lance is gone, Garoppolo's gone. All of a sudden, here's Brock Purdy, and he's balling out, maybe looking better than the two of them combined. And then, first drive of the game, Purdy gets hit by Reddick, who got snubbed out of Defensive Player of the Year considerations. And he showed why he probably should have been in that consideration. He was a wrecking ball this game. He is reminiscent of Von Miller in the Broncos run where they were defense first a couple of years ago. He is reminiscent of that, and he just gave the 49ers all sorts of fits, despite them having a fantastic O-line, and they just didn't know how to block him. And so he gets to Purdy. I think he, tore his UCL? I think is what the injury was. It
I
pretty
saw
much,
it in passing, so I
yeah.
didn't see, but he is out for 6 months.
Yeah, he's
So
going to be out for a while, which really sucks for Brock because he did have the 1 year contract. He was on schedule to maybe make a bag. It's not really an easy injury to come back from. There's already question marks already. So it's like,
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff. So that really sucks for Brock. And then they bring in Josh Johnson, who, shout out to Josh Johnson. I do give him a lot of credit for being ready. There's absolutely zero reason that if you're Josh Johnson coming into this season, that there's any expectation that you will be playing 38 minutes of the conference championship game.
yeah.
And so he did it. He wasn't the worst thing ever. He wasn't the best thing ever. He had the fumbles. Outside of that, like, what
The
can you
fumble was
expect?
tough.
The fumble is
The
tough.
fumble was
But like
that.
outside of
That's
that,
what
it's really
killed.
hard to help. Like you're on your fourth
Yeah,
string. Like you're the hit the red button quarterback. And then he
yeah.
goes down. And the red button is now not just red button, but it has flames and like magma and tar and oil, and it is Christian McCaffrey was essentially the best quarterback on the roster now because they put Brock Purdy back out there. He couldn't throw the ball. He
It
couldn't
was
even lift his
CMC
elbow up.
and the fullback that were the backup
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
Kyle Juszczyk, shout out. And it's like,
Yeah,
man, you got to feel a little bit bad, but like at the end of the day, injuries happen. And I've been saying this for a while, and I don't know how much I believe this, and I don't know how much I want to delve into it, but there has to be something addressed with a couple of teams in the NFL. The Ravens, the
yeah,
Chargers, the 49ers are prime examples. They are so remarkably injured every single season,
yeah.
especially the 49ers when it comes to their quarterbacks, when it comes to their wide receivers, when it comes to their running backs. Take a shot every time you've heard a running back from the 49ers is out with a knee injury. I mean, it happens twice a season, actually. It happens twice a
No,
season.
you're not wrong.
Going back to Carlos Hyde, that was like 5 years ago.
Oh, oh God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then you got Jerick McKinnon goes down, and you got all these guys that keep going down. And even in this game, Elijah Mitchell wasn't available. And it's like, man. And they were super injured throughout the years. So it's like, I don't know if it's just how it is. I don't know if it's the grass over there in San Francisco. I don't know if it's the training staff. I don't know if it's the medical team. I don't know if it's the way they practice or the way that Shanahan puts them in positions in the game. I don't know what it is, but there's plenty of teams that just don't get injured like this.
Yeah, and just to add to the if it's the field take, we're gonna really see how much that is a factor coming up in the next couple years with the couple of stadiums that people do tend to get injured at. Because with the World Cup coming to the States, like FIFA, their regulations are like you gotta have your field a specific way for like you to even have the games played on it. So a lot of NFL teams, they're going to be switching over
To grass, yeah. To
to
switching to
natural
grass.
grass, and the first one that comes to my mind is MetLife because there's been a lot of issues with that field as
In
well.
particular, yeah.
So that's really going to be a question that's going to get answered because the NFL teams are going to be playing on this new field because we're going to have it before the World Cup. So I'm interested to see that because we can't be having this many injuries like this.
Yeah. And
It's
and granted, and
ridiculous.
and these injuries are different, right? Like Purdy got like laid out, and his
Well,
arm
yeah,
was. And
that's
so we're not.
yeah.
This isn't like a thing in that regard, but I mean, you look at these three organizations, and particularly with the Chargers, Ravens, and 49ers, you're like, bro, like, how do these injuries pile up every single season? When's the last time you
Yeah.
saw like realistically the Patriots lineup and roster just like decimated by injuries? Like I feel like that doesn't happen. I know
No.
they're freak injuries, and sometimes it's complete luck and all that, and this, that, and the other thing. But like, how often is luck kind of stringed together before it's a problem, right? And so I don't know if it's at that point.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Just something that I've noticed with those teams in particular, and
No,
who would
you're
have
right.
thought the Niners got 4 guys injured in this game? So
And what a tough role for them because everything was looking decent to like start the year. Like they probably could have made a nice run with Trey Lance, develop him, all that. Cool. Doesn't happen. Jimmy G, maybe he could just keep on adding to whatever resume he's trying to cook.
yeah.
Cool.
Well, then
Doesn't
Brock comes in.
happen.
They win what, like 11 in a row?
Brock is looking amazing, and Brock is looking like he's taking both of their jobs
Yeah.
come next season. And I mean, in theory, I still think that when it comes down to training camp, you still give the edge to Brock, at least in the quarterback battle. I don't know if you outright give him the spot. I don't think you should, but at least you let them fight and you give him a little edge. So shout out to what he did. But I mean, for any team, not even just the 49ers, for any team to come in and have to get to their fourth string quarterback,
I mean,
there's
there's
nothing you can
like
do.
3 teams in the league that could even go to their second string and feel like even remotely confident. Niners are
Yeah.
obviously one of them because Jimmy G was the best backup in the league. I don't even know who else would be in that discussion. Maybe
Like
the
the
Eagles with Gardner Minshew, but they lost both games with him. So like I don't know.
Yeah. Like the only team I could even think of that a fourth string quarterback saw the field this year would be the Jets. And I mean that was
Who
a
was the fourth
hold
string?
the I don't know his name, but remember
He
he
had the
came
arm
in and we
sleeve.
were
Yeah,
clowning him because he looked like a created player
yeah,
because
yeah,
Flacco went
yeah.
down.
I don't remember his name, but
Um
he was horrible
Wilson
though.
wasn't there
He
and
was terrible.
Mike White went out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do
Mike White was
remember.
a dog that game though. But that's the only team I could think that actually had like their fourth string quarterback come in and like you needed him. You needed him. And I mean even that like you're not getting anything out of that.
I'll tell you
These
what, the Dolphins were about a hard tackle away from it a couple times this
you're not
year.
wrong. You're not wrong.
They're right there. But
You're not wrong. So that's just wild. So shout out to the 49ers. Tough. I mean,
hey, but they
the
got outplayed
Eagles
regardless, dude. That the
they
Eagles
did. Like
The
they
Eagles,
did.
like I feel like every time people are talking about the Eagles, like there's this weird like reason they want to hold back, and I don't quite understand why. This is an organization that's won a championship relatively recently. They know how to
They're not
develop
far
great O
removed.
lines. They know how to develop great
Mhm.
D lines. What are the 2 things you need in this league to be great? A great O line and a great D line, and they have a fantastic quarterback. I don't know how great Jalen Hurts is in the grand scheme of things. Is he top 5? Is he top 10? Is he? I don't know,
You
but
know
he's really
the
good.
Jalen Hurts stories. I'm loving the guy more and more
He's awesome. He's awesome.
as I hear like the outside stories come in. Him talking about like situations like even I saw him talking about like him getting benched in the natty and
Championship,
all
yeah.
that and it's awesome like seeing a guy like that. So the Eagles definitely got something with him. How much? We'll see. This is going to be a big test because I mean, as dominant as this playoff run looks right now, you beat the Giants, you beat the the 40s, not even the Niners. You beat
Not
the
the you
40s.
beat the
Okay.
40s.
So I mean, and
Yeah.
that's I'm not taking nothing away from them.
No, you
I'm
gotta.
not taking
They
anything
worked
away
their
from
butt
them.
off to get to that point to be able to play those kind of
Yeah.
softer quote unquote games. So
So you do have the dynasty to take down.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is
Like I
gonna be a
mean,
big test.
hey man, if they go in this and they beat Patty, there's no reason to argue that this team was a fraud or anything like that because they have to
No,
play against
no,
one of the greatest in the game, Patrick Mahomes. And
yeah,
listen, man, I Patrick has played a lot of close games in the playoffs.
yeah.
A lot of close games in his playoff career. He doesn't have a whole lot of blowouts, which is what it is. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. It kind of just finds ways to win games more often than not in the playoffs. He's been to five consecutive AFC championships. I believe they've hosted all five. And there was this weird like clamor in the air, and you sipped a little bit of that Kool-Aid coming into this game too.
Which Kool-Aid? Oh,
the
what
the
the
the Joe Burrow and he has Mahomes' number, and the Bengals are like
yeah.
this team with all this momentum and this, that, and the other thing. It's not a bad thing. I think the Bengals are a
No.
fantastic organization, but like you sipped a little bit of the Kool-Aid, and I remember saying last week, I was like, Patrick Mahomes is gonna show why he's the best quarterback in the world.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong, and the game was tight. The
The game
game
was
was
tight.
tight. A couple of mental mistakes and ended up pushing the envelope a little to one side. But I mean, again, not taking it on the way because I mean it happened. Can't do nothing about it. But that was a tight game from two very 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 elite quarterbacks.
Yeah, and you mentioned mental mistakes. Burrow had that pick in the fourth quarter that just didn't feel necessary at all. It was not a good throw. It was not a great idea. It didn't wind up leading them much. Uh,
No,
then you have the Mahomes. I don't remember when it was in the game, but you had the Mahomes like slip fumble where he like goes back and just slips out of his hands. You're like, man, like he's hurt. Like that's the one thing I noticed in this game. Like this guy is not 100%. He's just
no,
not.
and he dogged it out.
He,
Absolutely dogged it out.
yeah, and I mean the best way to describe it is at the end of the game, he makes this 9-10 yard run, gets over the first down, runs 2 more yards on that bum ankle. He was visibly slower. And Patrick Mahomes is not like the fastest quarterback in the world, but he has like a burst to him, which is why he's like such an effective runner and a scrambler. He has like a
He has
great,
really good game speed.
he is really
Really
good
good
game
game
speed and
speed.
like a great first 2 steps. He is like a really good
Yeah,
acceleration. So
yeah.
he clearly was lacking that, but he gets to the outside, he gets out of bounds and gets shoved in what was like not I don't think it was like too crazy of a play in terms of like you beat this guy up over it. He was trying to make a play. Patrick was absolutely out of bounds. Anybody saying that wasn't a flag, you're just like, I don't know.
They're saying it's not a flag because he barely touched him. Okay, fine, but
I
don't
mean, he
do it. You know
shoved
they're
him.
gonna call it.
It's his
Yeah, but
back.
yeah,
It's you
you
push
know they're
him
gonna
in the
call it.
back when he's out of bounds. It's not like you shoulder checked him. It's not like that's what it
Yeah,
was. So this was an extension of the arms. It was a flag. It's not a great
yeah,
flag. I mean,
absolutely.
could Harrison Butker kick a 60-yard field goal? Probably, but now he doesn't have to. It goes to a 45, and Butker's hit
Yeah,
quite a few playoff game winners, and that was just
yeah.
another to the collection. That was I don't know why that one felt different. I think it was because like you get the Joe Burrow monkey off your back, right? There was like this
Yeah.
weird every playoffs, and I can't stand it. Like I don't know why we do this. We watch like years of film and years of work, and we're like, wow, that guy's good. And then they lose a playoff game or they win a playoff game, and it's like all of a sudden we think Josh Allen is Philip Rivers, which I actually think that's a great comp that a lot of people are saying. But like all of a sudden, like Josh Allen's not great. He's Philip Rivers all of a sudden. All of a sudden, Joe
Yeah.
Burrow's like the best thing since Peyton Manning. He's getting compared to Peyton Manning.
That's ridiculous.
Peyton Manning. And it's like, Joe Burrow's really good. He's a winner and all that. I get that. He's getting compared to Peyton Manning, dude. And it's like, bro, he beat Josh Allen in the snow.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? And
Yeah.
we overreact very heavily. Like when the Giants beat the Vikings, everybody's like, "Oh, Daniel Jones, franchise QB." It's like, bro, this dude's not good. Like, I need
And
you
then he
guys to
got
understand.
cooked.
Then he got cooked because he's not good. He played a team that actually knows how to
Yeah.
rush the passer. It's
Recency bias is a crazy
it's
thing.
so
It's
crazy,
a
and
crazy thing.
and again, people were coming into this game, and I saw it. I saw the TikToks. I saw all the stuff all week, and they said if Joe Burrow, there's not a lot of people, but this is mostly like TikTok podcasts like us, right? And they're like, Joe Burrow, if he beats Mahomes here, is better than Patrick Mahomes right now. No, no, Joe Burrow will never be better than Patrick Mahomes. He never was better than Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes on a bum ankle just beat him.
Yeah.
And this is, oh, by the way, the worst Patrick Mahomes team ever. This is the worst one. I don't care how you want to slice it. They have the worst defense. They have the worst weapons for him. They had like one wide receiver in this game. Listen,
I'm
man.
I'm really interested to see the Chiefs next season.
They're going to be better.
No, there absolutely are
They're
going to
going to
be
be
better. I'm
better.
just
This is the
I'm
worst
just
Chiefs
interested
team
to
we were going to see.
see
If we weren't
what.
beating the Chiefs this year, it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
And I saw a really good
because
Nick Wright spiel because he's a big Chiefs guy. He loves riding the
yeah,
Mahomes wagon. And he was like, dude, the Bengals got a better O line and healthier. The Bills got a better team with Von Miller joining and all that, which granted he wound up not playing, but they re-uploaded,
tough.
right? Russell Wilson goes
Yeah.
to the Broncos. They tried to get better. Devontae Adams goes to the Raiders. They got better. The Chargers got all these great defensive players on their team. Trevor Lawrence has an outbreak season. All these things happen. The Chiefs got worse by trading the second best wide receiver in football. The second best receiver in the sport got traded.
And we all pointed and laughed.
And they are in the Super Bowl again. And I don't know if they're favorites or not. Let's look. They might be favorites. I'm kind of interested to see. It's probably super close, actually. The Eagles are favorites. Ooh.
Yeah,
I kind of like that, actually. I feel like the Eagles should be favorites. I think they're a
they
better
should.
team. I think they're a better team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're definitely a better team, actually. Now that I'm like braining this. The Eagles are a better team. But like Patrick Mahomes is like actually insane. How often can you just
It's
ride that to work? I don't know. They're 1.5 point favorites on FanDuel Sportsbook right this second.
okay.
It's the over at 49.5 points. Oh, let's do this. Let's do this. Right? Here's the segment. Are we taking the lines? The over under. Eagles, 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
Eagles? Okay.
As you can see, it physically pains me. Physically pains
Over
me.
under 50.5.
50.5. I I want to take the under. I feel like it's going to be like 37 to 43, somewhere around there on the
Okay.
on the scoring.
Who do you think is third in Super Bowl MVP odds? Because obviously the quarterbacks, get them out the way. Who's the next highest one that's not a quarterback?
Kelsey?
What a guy.
Hey.
What a guy. I am kind of shocked it's not Hassan Reddick. I feel like if you guys want a really interesting bet that you could make a lot of money off of, Hassan Reddick is plus 3,400 to win
Really?
Super Bowl MVP. 2 sacks and a strip sack, and that's MVP, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Take it to the bank.
Yeah, take it to the bank. That doesn't feel too bad. What other crazy? I mean, obviously there's bets for everything, so it's not super fair. Let's see if there's player props real quick. Do they have me yards? They don't. That's sad. I was hoping we can get like a Mahomes like 240 line. I'm not seeing them. So sad. But yeah, I mean, I'm super dude. Super Bowl. This is one of the better Super Bowls in terms of like the teams in it are both the 1 seed. I think throughout the year they were the consensus 1-2, except for the little bit that the Bills were like in that conversation as well.
Yeah.
And it feels good. It's like, yeah, we got the 2 best teams. It doesn't always happen. We have a potential dynasty if Mahomes wins this. We have a potential start of a dynasty because the Eagles are pretty young at all of their like important positions.
The Eagles will be back in contention.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're gonna see a lot of the Eagles. Do they make it back to the Super Bowl again? Who's to say? But they will be in contention for
the NFC
a
is
couple
not
years to
great.
come.
They really
No.
benefit from the NFC not being that great Because I don't
Yeah.
know if the Eagles are like better than the Chiefs or the Bengals or the Bills, but who cares? They don't have to be.
Yeah.
They don't
I mean,
have to be.
they're on a great run right now. Just the energy around them is great because you're coming off a city right now who has just tasted a championship with the Phillies.
And a union.
So they are hungry and they are wanting to add to it. So you take that all into account, that's adding a lot to this run.
Yeah.
So
This is the third Philly championship appearance in the last 4 months.
it's crazy.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. The
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
76ers are pretty good too. The Flyers,
Yeah.
don't look at them. Don't look.
Don't. And I mean, when you look at it, and as much as it pains me to say, Philly is up there with the best sports cities in the country
Well, right now, especially. Come on now.
right now, especially. But like their fan base and just the fact that
They also
they got their
typically
squad.
want to win whether they do it or not, and I always appreciate that out of like
Yeah,
teams and brands and cities. So wanting to win is great. The Phillies have been wanting to be good for so long, and they make these moves and they haven't worked out. They just got Trey Turner. They got a bunch of relievers. Like the Phillies look good. The Phillies look
yeah,
good.
yeah.
They got Trey Turner and Bryce Harper and Schwarber. Come on, bro.
They're gonna be a
They're
fun
just the
team.
Washington Nationals.
Yeah, dude, you got to cut out the baseball talk though, because I'm
Nah,
just that I'm hyped.
yeah,
So
bro. I'm
we
super.
can't go too deep
I'm
into that.
so excited for baseball.
We'll go on a
I
whole
think
thing about that.
pitchers are reporting in a couple of weeks, so that's pretty exciting.
They are.
That's
We're
pretty
getting close.
exciting. And
But
we
before
did.
we get too deep into baseball, we did have some other football news. And you mentioned Russell Wilson and the Broncos. They got a new head guy over there. Go ahead, tell the people. Mm-hmm.
The Denver Broncos are doing their best to become the worst organization in the sport. This is a sport with the Washington Commanders. This is a sport with, apologies, the New York Jets.
I knew it was coming.
This is a sport with some of the worst of the worst. The Cleveland Browns traded for and then extended a sexual abuser. I was trying to figure out a nice word though. And yet somehow the Broncos are coming in here and like trying to one up them without like the illegalities of it all. They gave up however many picks and they gave the kitchen sink for Russell Wilson. And now they feel backed up into this corner because it's like, dude, we gave up so much for Russ. And he looked okay at times. He really genuinely did. He looked fine at times. We gave up so much for Russ. We have to make this window work. Let's go trade for a head coach. Okay, cool. Who's the head coach they traded for? Sean Payton. Awesome. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl. When did he win that Super Bowl? In Bounty Gate, they literally had to cheat and pay off players to go after people's heads illegally, but it didn't matter because refs didn't call it to win a Super Bowl. That was the only one he's ever won. That's his best accomplishment. You know what else he did? He wasted most of Drew Brees' career by losing games in the playoffs because he could never get over the hump against teams that were better or not better. The Vikings beat them 2 other times after that game. The Vikings did not have better rosters either of those times. Sean Payton is a great coach. I think he's a really smart offensive mind. I actually think he's genuinely a good coach. To give up a first and a second round pick for a guy who's moderately accomplished when last season Doug Peterson was available for free. Are you telling me that you couldn't convince Doug Peterson to come to Denver if you really tried, Mr. Elway? Are you telling me? You're telling me you let him go to Jacksonville. Another one of those poverty franchises I mentioned earlier. Maybe the most of them all. Because the owner fell asleep during their wild card game this year that they happened to win. You traded a first and a second round pick. You gave away players in the two most important rounds of the draft for a coach that won't be able to coach those two players. He literally can't. Like, how is the future of this team going to move when you don't have a first round pick for 5 years? Who is he going to coach? Is it a team full of Brock Purdy's? That doesn't happen. There's my rant. It's stupid. It's so dumb. It's so it's mind-numbingly stupid. Brian Dable, Kevin O'Connell, and Doug Peterson were all passed up on the Denver job. It was maybe the best job on the market at the time. It doesn't look as great now, but at the time, so dumb.
There's nothing really to add to that. It's ridiculous that we're even seeing this because, off the top of my head, I can't think of a time where like we've seen a coaching trade.
Jason Kidd in
Have
the NBA. Jason Kidd
okay,
got traded in the NBA. That happened.
okay,
That's the one that I remember immediately because I was like,
yeah,
really? I think he got traded
okay,
for like a second round pick. Who cares in the NBA? Who cares?
fair,
Yeah, whatever.
fair. But no, just the fact that we're seeing this now for the price tag that we did. A second round pick in the NBA is like a fourth, fifth in the NFL.
It's like a 6th, 7th, really. Like second round picks in the NBA just like so rarely pan out.
Yeah, so like you're giving up a first and a second. And you mentioned the Super Bowl. That was mostly off the just motivation to win for the city after Katrina. So was that really off of him coaching them? I don't even know.
They let a natural disaster like hurrah, let them trade a first and a second. That was like a decade.
Like
That was like 14 years ago.
it was what 2009,
I was 11. What are
bro.
we doing?
So that's the guy that you just traded a first and a second
Oh my god.
to come coach your team with the quarterback that got no dog in him at all. That we don't even know what's gonna happen with this offensive genius that's coming to lead this offense.
The last offensive genius we had come here got ran out of town in one season, so. And not to
And
put more salt in the wound, but remember I said the Jets were a
yeah,
poverty franchise? Yeah,
yeah,
they signed that guy to be OC. not to salt the wound,
yep.
but like it genuinely hurts my brain. It's crazy. People see failure and they're like, line that up. Like, it's crazy.
Sean Payton.
And now another poverty franchise. There's like 8 of them in the NFL. Oh my god, the NFL is full of just empty heads with rocks jingling around. The Houston Texans. They made the best thing that they've ever done. They did 2 completely unserious coaching hires in back-to-back seasons. Completely unserious. There was never a desire for the head coach that they hired over the last 2 years to lead the future team. It was just like, hey man, we need a body. Give me a body. Cool.
Yeah.
Run it out there. They go get D'Amico Ryans, and he is an awesome pick. He wanted to come to Houston. He used to play for Houston. He was a great player there. He had a pretty solid defense over there in the 49ers. And by pretty solid, I mean a darn good one. I don't think what he does defensively is overly great. I don't think he's like this giant mega mind. But I think he's just like a smart enough dude that's like, hey, you. And he's like pointing to like Tart. He's like, hey, man, you're not super strong, are you? He's like, I mean, I'm all right. It's like, okay, so you're not super strong. Guess what we're not going to make you do? Rush the quarterback. We're going to put you in coverage, and you're going to do fantastic. And guess what Tart does great? He does fantastic coverage. And it's like he puts guys in situations that, like, they're going to succeed. One of the craziest things I've ever seen is when teams get an edge rusher. Like, even the Cowboys did this sometimes this year. And the Cowboys' defense was great, but they get an edge rusher, Micah Parsons, and he goes into coverage. Why? Why is Micah Parsons covering a halfback? It's like, what are we doing?
Ridiculous.
Ryans doesn't do that much. So, like, he's going to make smart defensive moves to put guys in the right positions. I think it's a great hire. I don't know how great it's going to be. I don't think defensive head coaches do overly great as head coaches, personally. I'm not the biggest fan.
I yeah, I completely agree with that.
I'm a big offensive head coach guy because it's really hard to replace an offensive coordinator. It's really easy to replace a defensive coordinator. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So,
No, you're absolutely right on that.
but I do think he's a great hire. I think he's a great guy. I think he's like a super stand-up dude, and I'm excited for him to be
Yeah, and I mean,
maybe great.
hopefully he could do something with the Texans. Hopefully, like you got J.J. Watt rallying behind the hire. He loves it. Cool. What I think they should do now that JJ's done, bring him in on the organization as like a front office consultant or something. Get like a football mind over there,
Yeah.
just to like have somebody say something in these meetings, so it's not just like, hey, let's go do this. I know it's probably not a good idea, but let's just go do it. No, 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 no. Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And I think that's what they need. They need somebody that's gonna be a dog leading the team. So shout out to Miko.
Yeah.
Hopefully that works.
Well,
Now they just gotta build around it, and hopefully they're not dumb. Simply put, because we've seen them do dumb
it's a
things.
tough ask. It's a tough ask.
We've seen them do dumb things.
It is
So
absolutely a tough ask. But I mean, hey, we're trying. We're hoping. We're hoping. So
I'm not. Hopefully they're poverty, but whatever.
I like having 8 just like actually just brain dead organizations. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
It's
because
kind of
when
fun.
they actually do something cool, it's like,
People
hey,
root for them. Look at the
nice.
Lions this year. People were like, "Yeah, go Lions." When the Browns started to get good for a second there, people were like rooting for them, and then they like kind of got annoying, and then like now they
I mean,
again.
I was one of them. I wanted to see like the Browns do something, and they were trying in theory. But
They won like
yeah,
11
that
games one time. It's crazy to see like the bad teams like get out of being bad, and then it's like the lowest ceiling ever. It's like, damn, dude, really? That's it? That's all you
the
got?
they went over to somebody's house for dinner, and they're like, "Oh, this smells good," and then they taste it, and it's like, "Huh, this tastes kind of good." And then they tried to ask them what they put in it, and they told them, and they were like, "I I don't want to say word."
Intestines?
and,
Bull
and
intestines? Really?
where chitlins? You put that? No. And they spit it out and they went home.
Yeah, they
And
went
that's
home
exactly what happened.
hungry.
Whatever they tried to cook
Went
over
home
there in
hungry.
Cleveland, uh,
Yeah, it was not. It was not great.
that was nasty.
It was
That was
not great.
nasty.
You know
That
who's cooking stuff, and it looks like it's gonna be cooking really well.
cool.
Complete pivot. Complete
Mm-hmm.
pivot. The
Mm-hmm. I love it.
WNBA.
Yes,
Come
sir.
on. Stop
Yes,
playing with me.
sir.
Stop
Shout out super
playing with me.
teams.
Dude, if there's any so a lot of people say like super teams ruin the NBA to an extent I like semi agree, but like now and if you look at the NBA, there's like no super teams. So like does it even really matter? Not really. Uh WNBA needs it
Yes.
because having super teams makes dominance. And dominance is what's going to sell tickets in that league. If you have all these stars on one squad, people are going to want to go see these games. And guess what? 2 cities could not be better places to have star-studded teams. Vegas, which loves basketball. Oh, and by the way, the Vegas Aces are coming off a championship. And then they just go
Mm-hmm.
happen to get one of the best players in the world, Candace Parker. Which crazy. One of the greatest
Yeah.
ever do it, in Candace Parker. And then you look over at the Liberty, and the Liberty go get Brianna Stewart in free agency right after they go trade for the reigning MVP. I don't remember Jonquel Jones. I don't remember how to pronounce her name, but Jonquel
Mhm.
Jones. So they get 2 MVPs added to the roster in New York, plus Sabrina Ionescu, who's one of the best in the sport, one of the most
Shout out
athletic in the
Sabrina.
sport. Shout out Sabrina. The Aces have 4 first overall picks starting. 4. They added Candace Parker to a team that just dominated the season.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is pretty. They're also East West, which is kind of sick. So like, this is just
I
collision
mean,
course. This is great.
I'm
This is cool.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that I watch a whole lot of WNBA, but I can say that if I see the Aces playing or they're about to play, I'm probably going to tune in because this sounds electric,
Yeah.
especially after they won it. That definitely got my attention. Just seeing how lit they were at the parade,
Yeah, they were lit.
all
They were
that,
lit.
like it was dope. It was really dope. You had Kelsey Plum having everybody just folding all over the internet, me
Kelsey Plum.
included.
Shout
Cool.
out. Shout out. She's
But
also really
yeah,
good. She's also
no,
really good.
she's great. If I'm not mistaken, she either led the league in scoring this year or was like right
She
behind the leading
averaged
scorer.
20 a game, so
Yeah. So yeah, she averaged
she was number 2.
20.2, and
She
then
was
you
number
had
2.
Brianna Stewart 21.8.
Oh, and
So I
Brianna, the
mean,
leading scorer is going to the Liberty, and the MVP is going to the Liberty. Nice.
so
Pretty sick.
kind of cool.
Good day to be kind of Liberty fans.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm only a Liberty fan because of Sabrina, but
I'm a Liberty fan because of logistics.
logistics,
Oh,
you know.
shout out.
Shout out to the map coordinates, longitude,
Yeah,
latitude, all that, you know. City
gotta love it.
names.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
But
You put a team in New York, you got a fan in me.
it's
It's that
so
simple.
simple. It's so simple.
RIP to the Guardians.
RIP to the New York Guardians. XFL's coming back pretty soon. That's pretty
We
cool.
are. I'm excited for it. I know you're
I'm not
a little
watching.
hater
I'm a
when it
hater.
comes to the
I'm a
XFL,
hater.
but
I'm a hater. Now, what I'm
I'm
not a
excited
hater
for it.
for, what I'm not a hater for is Arena Football's coming back. That tweet came out
Oh,
from Shefty.
really?
Yeah, I sent that tweet this morning. You haven't checked any of my messages that you got today, so don't worry about it.
I haven't.
I'll read it to you.
I haven't.
I'll read it to you.
Okay, perfect.
This is from Adam Schefter. After a 4-year hiatus, the Arena Football League has announced it's relaunching under a new ownership group, returning to the field in 2024.
Ooh.
Now that's really cool because that is the one secondary league in the US that has legitimately worked. It actually worked, and it was a pretty successful league for a while. Problem was COVID and indoors.
Yeah.
It was
And being indoors and just being so different from like the core product is also what made it good.
yeah.
So I'm excited for that. Hell yeah.
Now want to hear something electric, right?
Of course.
They send out their presser, their full presser.
Okay.
Hey, plans to relaunch. 2 hours ago. 1 hour ago. I get a tweet from the AFL, Arena Football League. Hey, Tom Brady, open to one last comeback. And it's him in the My Next Chapter KD edit with the jersey that says AFL on it.
You know, great
Bravo.
marketing. I love it.
Bravo.
Whoever's on their social media team,
That gets a retweet from me.
I like you.
Yeah, that's good. I like this.
I like you.
I like that a lot. We got anything else for today?
No, you got me excited about arena football though.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
I hope that Tampa gets a team because
Yeah.
just like I said,
We
RIP
used to
to
have
the
one.
Guardians.
We used to have one.
Yeah.
So I imagine they
RIP to
would
the
bring it back.
Vipers. So we don't got the Vipers no more. So that's tough. No more XFL here.
16
But
teams.
hopefully we get AF. 16?
There's a chance.
I see no reason why we
I see
don't
no reason.
have
Give it.
no reason.
Because Orlando got
us-
them, so they won't give it to Orlando. It's Miami or
No.
Tampa or both.
Give it to both. Why not? If Texas can have 3 XFL teams, give us 2.
It's based out of Texas, to be fair. So that's part of
I
it.
don't care.
Whatever.
I don't care.
Last thing before we get out of here, shout out to one of the coolest and most electric guys in the sport, Jazz Chisholm, for being on the cover of MLB The Show 23. That's really cool. He's not like the biggest name in terms of like last year was Otani, who's maybe the best ever because of the pitching and the hitting. But Jazz is really, really sick. He's a great ambassador for the game. He's from the Bahamas, so he's spreading some of that island cheer and island vibes to baseball and bringing it back to his homeland. And pretty
Shout
cool
out to the
see.
Island Boy.
Shout out to the Island Boy. I'm really excited for that game. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure
Yeah.
that you like and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you are tuned in for every week. We usually come out with these on Monday. It was a late week this week. That happens. It's so be it, whatever. Again, the Spectators' first ever event for the Lovers Art Show is coming out next Friday in Tampa. Please be there if you are able to. We'd love to see your beautiful faces. And follow us at Spectators Media.
And if for whatever reason, you watch this before 7 o'clock on February 1st, we're having a movie night tonight. So
I
come on our
doubt you will,
Discord.
but hey,
You definitely won't, but just so you know, we're doing movie nights now. So stay tuned. Spectators Media.
later, everybody.